Hello, everybody. Welcome to the engine house. Okay, it's been crazy. First thing, you notice I got some new curtains back there. I got tired of the glare. Just no matter what I did, this was supposed to be a spare bedroom. So the curtains really, they were there just for curtains on the windows. They weren't working here real well. I needed blackout curtains, which is what I got. So there's that. No more glare. And now, of course, I have into all these different projects I've been currently working on. Some of them I'm waiting for detail parts. Excuse me, this weather, it's that time of year, and my throat gets scratchy. Anyway, one of the things, of course, I have to finish up is Rexall drug, and I have to finish this part of it right here. And I may redo the walkway out in front. I'm not really happy with the way that came out, so we're going to probably redo that. But anyway, that's going to also have some more detail parts. But one of the problems I'm running into is my table here, excuse me, is full of everything I've been working on, and it all needs to go downstairs. A couple things that I haven't started working on yet that I intend to that are sitting here in the way. And they're next. So anyway, one of the things I am doing is trying to finish up little things. Here is the bus maintenance facility. This came from Menards. I did a video on this. You can see I have made the brick. I have dirtied up the brick. I have put, I don't know if you can tell, but yes, you can see it. I have put mortar lines in between the bricks, and of course I've dirtied it up a bit, including the floor inside. This bus that's here will stay. This bus that's here will also stay. The third bus will not. It'll be going out on the road. It will be out picking up the kiddies for the school. That's the next part. One of the other projects I have to do is build the school. One of the things is that all the figures came wearing blue coveralls, apparently, and blonde hair. I did not care much for that, okay? Not everybody looks like that. Whoever, these are made overseas. They just put figures on them and you're good. But anyway, I have been giving these guys a bit of a makeover. I still have to do faces and hair color for these guys. 3 of them have blue jeans on and one guy has black jeans on. And of course, he's the guy with the hose, and this is the guy with the, and I still have to paint his coat. As you can see, I've got his blue jeans painted, but I don't have his coat done yet. Or what's in his sweater or whatever, in his t-shirt, whatever inside. I don't have any of that done yet, so that's going to be one of the things I'm doing today. I'm trying to get these projects out of the way so that I can move on to some of the other stuff. Now that I have track laid and all the wiring is pretty much done. I have to wire a turnout still and some other things. But it's getting to be winter, and I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to work in the basement this year. Winter's that basement gets really cold. I'm hoping this year that changes. We have a pellet stove down there, and I've been repairing the damage in the corner. Hopefully it stays warmer down there and I can do some work. We'll see how it happens. But in the meantime, I'll still be working up here. But I have to move these buildings down to the layout. And now I can start figuring out where they're going to go, and then I can do the scenery accordingly. The other thing we're doing is I have this locomotive completely torn down. I've got the wheels off. They were very brittle, some of them. They had this locomotive had been abused. I took the armature out, as you can see, and it is sitting aside. The E unit, the old one, is here. This is the lever, reverse, whatever. This lever is pretty much useless at this point. The new one came in. There is the new one. And the thing I like about this is it has, they put insulation around the coil on this. pretty good. I can rebuild these. I have put in new this unit down here, and I've done some of the wiring and have cleaned them up. I have a problem with this lever. I don't. It's just one of those things. I just can't seem to do it. So it's easier. The tool that helps with rebuilding these is like $80. And I don't rebuild enough of them to justify an $80 cost. It's faster and easier to buy one from somebody that rebuilds them. And there are a few people out there online that do. And a lot of times they'll ask for the old unit to be sent back to them to rebuild it to sell to somebody else. This guy, whoever it was that sold me this, did not ask for that. I bought some others, and the person that sent them to me asked for the old ones back, and I have mailed them some. I have to look up and see if I have his information in my stack of business cards up here and see if he wants this unit, and I will mail it to him. They do this stuff a lot, so it's easier sometimes to just outsource the work, right? No sense in frustrating myself on it. The other thing is, because again, the wheels are brittle, trying to remove them, we did some damage. So we ordered new. Here's one set here. These have been cleaned up. I don't believe they're new. I think they're probably old new. They came off of another locomotive. And one of the things I still have to get, and of course, being on a fixed income, my VA disability, and oh yeah, I wanted to show you these too. Now, I showed this locomotive one other time, but you really don't get a good idea until you see it. See how rusty these are? I mean, this locomotive in bad shape. There's some parts missing. There are this is going to be a while. My grandson is going to be doing a lot of the work and learning how to do it. And this is going to be an exercise in how to do this. One of the things I am waiting to order, which will be soon, is a small sandblasting cabinet. So I can sandblast. This obviously needs it. There's not a lick of paint anywhere left on that, but it does need to be sandblasted and cleaned up. Normally, I would I'd clean this up and just leave it alone. I would not, because you look at these and you think about it, okay? Some kid was playing with this in the 1950s. Okay, that kid is either is old now. They're gone. We don't know. We don't know the history of these. That's one of the things. You can think about it. You can imagine it, but you don't really know. But it has been played with. A lot of my locomotives, a lot of my rolling stock have paint missing and things like that, which means they were played with. And of course, paint does get rubbed off. It's over time. Same thing on the tenders. So I don't really like to mess with these unless they're in really, really bad shape. I do have a couple of passenger cars. Excuse me, again, this weather. I do have a couple of passenger cars that the roofs are just a wreck. They need to be repainted. The body of the coaches themselves aren't in bad shape. There's not very much paint missing. There's just a couple chips here and there, but the roofs were in really bad shape. And one of them was an observation car, and the back piece that goes around the back with a little, there's a little like porch there. I guess I don't know I can't think of what the name of it is. But anyway, that was done in silver, and it was kind of rusty, and I've done a few things to try and clean it up, and there's nothing I can do to get the rust out of some of the spots in it, okay, other than sandblasting it. So that's one of the things I need a sandblaster for, so I'm going to order that. And the only reason I'm going to do this or have my grandson do it is because it was, of course, missing the boiler front when we got it. I paid $15 for this, okay? I'm probably going to spend, I know I've already spent way more than that on it, but, it's for a good cause. This is the boiler front we got, okay? And it looks like somebody restored it. One of the things I want to point out on these is when you're looking, some of these locomotives, these older ones, these post-war older ones, okay, but had these lights on them, okay, and a lot of times you'll find these either on the locomotive still or somebody selling one, and one or both of these are broken off. And again, it's from, you know, kids playing with them, they get dropped. I mean, look at them, they're tiny and easily broken. Okay, so somebody took the time to restore this and painted it, and I don't think it would look right on that loco, on the front of the loco. So we're going to go ahead and repaint this one. At least I'm going to ask my grandson. This is his locomotive. Okay, the thing is yes, I can teach him how to do this stuff, but if he wants to leave it like this with this front on it, that's going to be up to him. This is his locomotive. We still also have to find a tender, and I have a pre-war tender for one of my locomotives that also has to be sandblasted. It is in very rough shape. So there is that. I'm waiting for more wheels, and we have some other missing parts. And as we get further into that, we'll have to stop and order parts and wait till they come in, and we'll go from there. So that is just one of the things that we're going to be doing coming up soon. The other thing is, like I said, I've got these to finish, and then and of course I have the ranch house and all the buildings that came with it. I have the barge, I have a tugboat, I have a lobster boat over there that I've made out of different things. Everything's in the way. I can't put anything else over here until I take some stuff down to the layout. So a lot of this stuff is going to be leaving. I have a few more projects. Of course, like I said, I have a school facility, a bus maintenance facility with school buses. Somewhere up there, I have a small schoolhouse. There it is. I do have one. 1 second. Here is the schoolhouse. Now, it is, of course, it's not a very big schoolhouse, as you can see. This is, of course, the early 50s. This is not exactly O scale. It's the buildings, the windows and everything are, but a lot of these buildings, when you compare them to actual the modern O scale stuff, it really doesn't look right. I did a video on that at one point. You can see the difference in the size of the earlier buildings as compared to actual O nowadays. And this is one of them, but it's a small school. And I can also, if I need to, I can, of course, kit bash some of this, add to it. I have some other things. I have some other ideas of what I can do. And there's probably people out there going, oh my God, you're going to kit bash a 1950s kit. How dare you? Yeah, there are some people that would leave these in the original boxes. And of course, these boxes are slowly turning back into sawdust. It's the process of making the cardboard and the paper in those days was different than we make it now. And slowly it's turning back into sawdust. So, but yes, some people will put these on their layout just the way they are, which is, there's no harm in that. You put these on, nostalgia, whatever you want to call it. And then there's me, who likes to tinker and play with it. Little red schoolhouse. It even says Plasticville School, which that's going to go away. And it's going to get painted. It's going to be different. I also have a post office that has to get done. I have some other things, but we'll be working on that as time goes on. I have lots more buildings. I have an engine house up there that's going to be built eventually. I have a post office. I have a ranch house that is the old, and you can really see the difference in that ranch house compared to this ranch house. There is a huge difference in size, okay? The doors and windows are all the same, but the bedrooms, if you were to actually build that house compared to this, the bedrooms would be closets. They'd all be this size. This was a spare bedroom in this house. This is a 3-bedroom house, if you want to call it that. This is the smallest of the 3 bedrooms, and there's not a lot of room in here. We had a bed in here at one point until we decided, we're going to have, this is going to be my workshop area. And the bed pretty much took up the whole space. So it's a very small room. From what I understand, the previous owner had 2 daughters and a son, and this was the son's room. And the daughter's room, 2 daughters shared a room, and that is the next biggest room. That is my wife's craft shop room. It's right here. It's on the other side of this one. And then, of course, the master bedroom. So this is a small room. If you were to build a house compared to, the old, I'll even grab it for you here. I'll show you the difference. Okay, here is the ranch house. It's the roof, of course. Here is the front wall with the garage attached. Okay, here's that. It's a front wall with the garage attached. You see the difference? There is a world of difference between the old 1950s and the early 60s as compared to people are actual O-scale buildings nowadays. It's kind of funny. I use a mixture, of course. Why not? It's it's just that these were cheap to buy. I got these relatively cheap, and of course painted them up and did my own thing with them. And these are okay. This will be closer into the background somewhere. You're not going to see too much of it, but it's putting buildings on the layout. That's one of the things I impress upon people is, regardless, you're building a layout, you're trying to get buildings on it. You're trying to get scenery on it. Buy what you can afford. These come on eBay and they're relatively cheap compared to a lot of the modern stuff. So you buy some of these, and as you find used buildings or even cheaper kits, you buy those and add in, and there's no harm in mixing and matching. Honestly, again, it's your world. You do what you want, right? As Bob Ross used to say, it's your world. Is it is. It's your world. You do what you want to do. If you want to mix and match or go one way or the other, that's what you do. A lot of us are just out here having fun with this thing. But I mean, it was an inexpensive kit. I think the kit was like $35. It came with, of course, the walls, the roof. It came with a couple interior things that I did not use in this. They'll go somewhere else. But this was an inexpensive kit. If you tried to buy, the kits run the range. They run a gamut of costs depending on what you're wanting. Excuse me. This already pre-made building from Menards was about $100. It was used according to the eBay, the seller. They probably had it on a layout or whatever, and it had been discontinued at some point because you can't find it on the Menards site anymore. So it had been discontinued at some point, and they were selling it, and I grabbed it. I did not really realize how big it really was until it got here. I was like, oh my God, where am I going to put it? I'll find a place. But anyway, that is a nod to my wife and her years of driving a school bus. So anyway, these are some of the other kits, this one. And I also have this kit, which I have had sitting here for a while now that I wanted to get going on and just have not had the time to do it. I had some other stuff going on. Of course, I wasn't around for a little while. I had some dental surgery and whatnot, and so I wasn't doing a lot. And what I was doing, of course, I wasn't shooting videos. So I need to do this. This is this is going to be a good favorite build of mine. I have a smaller factory also that was a plastic bill. It's up there somewhere. I have all kinds of different buildings. So we'll have that, and I'll be doing some other buildings little by little. The other thing I was going to do was I had bought a box of Hawthorne Village Christmas buildings at a thrift store. I think I paid 20 bucks for a box of these things, and I probably got a dozen or more buildings. A lot of them are busted and they need repair work. Um, some of them I can leave the way they are and just paint them a little differently and do some other things with them, and I don't have to do much to them. I might use those if I need a building somewhere that I'll paint one up and stick it off in the corner somewhere. Um, this was also a Hawthorne Village, and it's a fall building. It's got pumpkins. It's got a thing of a stack of wheat or something here wrapped up, and a turkey. It was a fall scene, but it had snow on the roof, and I covered up the snow with dried dead leaves to make it look more like a fall scene. This is going to be a farmer's market setting off. It's really too small to be a house. The door and whatnot is almost the right scale. Almost. You can see an O scale door and this door. Now, it's close, but it's not O scale. But it will work on the building somewhere. And I will put it somewhere with some, see, I've got there's a whole world of stuff you can buy. Model Tech Studios has all kinds of detail parts, including vegetable stands, fruits, crates, and with. So this will be a farmer's market setting off in a corner somewhere is what that's going to end up being. But anyway, I was going to use this because we are on a coast. It's Castaway, Maine. But working with this ceramic stuff is a nightmare. Grinding this down, it's time consuming if you can even do it. If I drop this, it would shatter, but you try to grind it a little bit and it takes, you're wearing out grinding bits on it. I don't know if there's a special bit. Hi, Amarok, how are you doing? You come up to say hi. You're going to go in the bedroom and lay on the comfortable bed, aren't you? Here he is. Hello, hi. Yeah, sure, good boy. Yeah. So anyway, working with this when this is really badly damaged, and it was going to take me a long time, and I really decided, you know what, I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm not losing much, 20 bucks for a whole box of the things. What I am going to use is I have this, and I've had this for a while. It is, of course, height-wise, it's almost the perfect scale. As far as there's a door here, for what reason, I have no idea. I think these were supposed to be windows. They didn't cut them out. This might be a window. I don't know. This door is not to scale, obviously, and of course, neither is the brick. So, and it has a crack right here that's going to have to be repaired. But this, I decided, sitting next to this, and there goes the door. This is going to be the lightkeeper's house. Quite a house for a lighthouse keeper, right? And I had taken two windows out of here. Grab this door. There was I believe there was a doorway, a door here. As you can see, these doors, this door goes right here. And there was another one here. And it disappeared at some point in the past, and I didn't notice it when I bought the building. It came with a couple other things, so I didn't really notice that it was missing, but that's okay. There were two windows here, and I took them out. So this is going to go here, but because of the closeness and the modifications I would have to do to this isn't going to be so hard. I can trim this and I can trim this to give a flat surface to set next to something. But what I decided to do was, well, hello, Shop Kitty. This came with this building. I don't know what the purpose is, except for it looks like somebody had started an addition. So I'm going to close in all three sides, put a roof on, and that's going to go right here on this side with the lighthouse against it. So it'll be a breezeway between the main house and the lighthouse. So that's one of my projects that's going to happen here real soon. And for the light, this is just a wooden dowel here. And this little cat right here knocked this thing off one day. And of course, that's where some of this damage came from. I did not have this secured to what it was setting on. And somebody was a little rambunctious and knocked it off. I'm going to remove this and we're going to redo it. And here is the lighthouse light, the glass. There would be a light in here. It isn't exactly like a lighthouse, the glass on a lighthouse would be, but I figure it's close enough. You know, trying to find the exact right thing. This cost me $1 at a thrift store, and so I bought it, and it'll go right here on this. Okay, I'll take this all down, redo this. This I'll keep maybe, and I'll put that on top of this, and it'll go right there. That's going to be somewhere near the coast. Now, I also have to paint these little figures, which is what I'm going to do today. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to do some other stuff here, starting some other. First, I'm going to get these kits down in the engine house where they belong. And then I can go ahead and start cluttering up this area again. Hi. Shop kitty. Yes, you're a good kitty. Anyway, so far you've seen Shop Kitty and one of the dogs. The others are, I don't know, the other two dogs are downstairs asleep, and I don't know where Mouse Kitty is. Mouse really doesn't show up much in videos. It's rare to find her pestering me. She's either in one of her 2 or 3 beds she's got around the house sleeping, and when she's not, she does not come in and pester me in here. So anyway, that's where we're at. I've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things happening. I'm working a little bit here, a little bit there. Things are going to, now that winter's coming, things are going to get kind of crazy. My wife is changing jobs again. She started working for the state and DOT as a plow driver, and she was offered a job that paid another $4 pretty much an hour more than what she's making there, and she doesn't have to be out plowing. So she had to get fingerprinted for the job and pass a security clearance. It's working it's a contract operation, maintenance and janitorial and cleaning at a federal building on the old Air Force Base nearby. And she actually got the supervisory position. So she'll be doing a lot of the paperwork and whatnot, but it means she goes from here to there, from there to here. There's no plowing involved. And it's not that I don't, she can handle a large vehicle. She drove a school bus for 18 years. That wasn't what was bothering me. It was the fact that I, as a truck driver for 25 years, know how stupid people get around snowplows in the winter. And that was one of the things that really bothered me, was having her out and not knowing for sure when. There's a lot of roads in this county and that they're responsible for in the winter to plow, and she could be gone for a couple of days. I wouldn't see her. She'd be taking a cat nap in her truck and plowing, and might not get a chance to eat, wouldn't. So I'm much happier with the fact she's got this other job. She starts here soon, so she'll be doing that instead. So I'll have her home weekends and holidays, and she's only working from 8 to 4:30. Hi, Shakoba. Well, we got you up here now. Hi. All the puppies are coming up, huh? Hi, the boneheads. Hi, Amarok. The only one I don't see is our St. Bernard. um, Yeah, pets are pets are great, right? I don't mind them. Shop Kitty here is always trying to get into the videos, and now the dogs apparently, since I took the door off, the dogs come in. They came in. I didn't ever close that door anyway, but now they seem to know that now it's, free to come in anytime they want. Hi, Shakoba. Hi. Yeah. For those of you who are unaware, by the way, Shakoba is Choctaw for little feather, and if she would turn around, come here, you, come here, right here, come here, Shakoba. If you will look at her forehead, all right here, when she was younger, this looked like a tiny feather. So we called her, we found that word for little feather. It's Choctaw. And oh, there's Jade. Hi, Jade. So her name is Choctaw for little feather. Amarok, of course, is from the Inuit people, a mythology. Hey, none of that. None of that. None of that. Sometimes brother and sister have a bit of a problem. Amarok, the Inuit people had a mythical black dog that would terrorize the natives if they were out after a certain hour of night. And it was a pit. All right, you two. And so he got named Amarok after that. Give me 1 minute to settle these guys down. And then, of course, we have our St. Bernard. And she has just a regular kind of, plain name. It's Jade. She's going to be 12 this year. And she's our old girl. So all the doggies are here. And they're all brother and sister today are having themselves a rough day, a rough go at it. They're in a small area, and sometimes they get on each other's nerves, as siblings will do. Anyway, if you like the video, hit the like button. It's just a quick, I'm still here. This is where we're at. And later on, you'll see some of my other stuff as I finish this stuff up, or as I start a new project, we'll be doing that. In the meantime, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment if you would, please. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.